awesome deal. Just like, biggest thing is I'm very fortunate to be here. I'm at McKissack, coach tight ends at Troy University. I've been a lot of different places. I was high school defensive line coach, linebackers. I've been in Alabama and Georgia, some other places, but I don't really want to focus on me. This is probably the next couple of things I'm going to show y'all. I just think it's so important. Like during this stage as coaches, we are mentors to young men, and that's the platform that we get to serve on. It's crazy. 15 years ago, Coach Yeager didn't know my name, but I'm sitting there. I'm 5'6" and 180 pounds overweight, and I found that playing offensive line was for me. So we can come in all different shapes and sizes. I ended up playing center at Troy, at this right here. So, you got to love that about coaching offensive line, okay? But the biggest thing is, I want to focus on my mentor was Coach John Schlarman. He passed away due to cancer. He coached me in Troy, and phenomenal man. Made things simple and always kept life bigger than football. And that's probably the biggest challenge. Like, at the end of the day, all these X's and O's are great, but at the end of the day, make life bigger than football. Okay, so I'm going to hit a couple of these points right here that I've learned. I'm still young. I'm 32 years old. I could be a janitor tomorrow, and I'm going to be the best damn janitor there is. I promise you that. I'm not going to kiss anybody's ass. I'm going to love on kids, and I'm going to hug on coaches, and I'm going to have their backs. That's what offensive linemen do. Okay, our players come first. That's the joy of the job. What sucks about college football is I can't put a kid in the back of the truck and take him to the house, because you don't know where these kids come from. So that's the biggest thing too, is like every one of these kids, you get a new opportunity every year to have somebody different to coach, to learn something new, which is freaking awesome. Okay, my job is to make sure, and I think this is important, don't have an agenda. My job is to make sure my dang OC, my head coach, and those kids on that team have the best chance to be successful, period. That's it. I don't have an agenda. There is no next year's job, whatever that is. Like I played at Troy, I love Troy. I'm going to be there, by guys, because I get to go eat Crow's chicken in Brundage, Alabama. And that's what I love to do. Okay? Life's bigger than football. Just a quick hit on this, because we're going to get into some scheme and some film. But man, I don't end this. I learned this from Granger Shook. He's head coach at Trinity Presbyterian down there in Montgomery. I do not break off that field. We always meet at the 11-yard line, because it takes 11 of us. That's offensive football. So you can't forget that. And I coach tight ends. Okay, it takes 11 of us. We always go to the 11-yard line. Every single day after practice. The guys don't realize it's at the end of the year, because I tell them, hey, it's always going to take all of us. You got me? We all got to roll in this thing. But I always leave them with something that's on my heart, whether it's freaking scripture, whatever it is. And I stole that from Granger Shook, man. And that's the biggest thing, guys. Like, I am not ever going to, this is awesome. Go to as many of these things as you can. Learn, be a bug on the wall. There's always something to steal. Learn and seek growth. You got to start by looking in the mirror. We can't run all these schemes in here. We all got guys that are 280 pounds on the edges. Like, do what you know your guys can execute. Period. Okay? I'm studying wing T this offseason. Roger Holmes in Dublin, the godfather, of Southeast Georgia football. Like, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Bigsby, Oklahoma High School. They're getting into empty and running wing T stuff. I'm constantly trying to fill my toolbox up with something. Challenge yourself to do that. You got to. And then find time for creativity. Leave your ego at the door. Leave your ego at the door. It's about putting the kids in a position to execute. And then last thing is build relationships. I can't tell you, I met a guy, Coach Schlarman, he never really liked to do these type of things. But what he loved to do is get pizza and beer and rent out a suite and say, go get as many guys up here and let's talk ball. And I can't tell you, I've met so many great coaches. There's 2 coaches that haven't missed a spring game since I've known them in 7 years that I've been at. And that's freaking huge for me. That's a trip that I'm going to make to see them every single year in the summertime, because those are my guys. And they coach at a little high school in Louisville, Kentucky. But man, they were freaking awesome. We throw ideas off the board all the time. All right, this is who I am as a coach. This is how I coach kids. These are the 3 things. I don't get in that truck and leave that field house unless I know I've done these 3 things, okay? And they ain't got crap to do with X's and O's. Number 1 is development. It can be happening in a one-on-one session. It can be happening in a group. Our guys right now, they get done practice at 10 a.m. There's film up there. There's notes. I'm going to steal what you did, Coach Yeager, with the flash deal. Love that. Hey, put your heads down, look up. I freaking love it, man. We're doing that. But those guys are grinding out and coming up there. I moved my office into our film room because I want to see them coming in. You want to be eager to learn. You know, I don't want to play high school football. I want to be a college football player. I love that. I want to be a freaking winner. You know, so we got to create time for development. And then leadership, ownership. This is the biggest thing. Really, if you ever play on the edge at tight end, okay, you got to make a lot of decisions. Whether it's sorting out the C gap, whether you get in a spill and you're going to watch that deal all the way by when that guard's slow pausing right there, you're going to watch it all the way by, and we're going to try to create an A-gap highway. But he's got to make a decision. Don't be a squirrel. I tell Matt all the time. Okay, and what does that mean? You're out there on the road, you see dead animals in the road. Why is that? Because they couldn't make a damn decision. All you got to do is go right or left. If I got to block somebody, there's 11 other dudes on the other side of the ball that are wearing a different color jersey than you are. So if you miss your block, well, guess what? Dude, you get 10 other opportunities, go find somebody, but make a decision, okay? I think this is a big piece because in this generation, these guys, they don't want to be wrong, or everything's performance-based, or I made a mistake. Oh, no. Man, dude, this is football. You get to be physical. Ain't no handcuffs out there, man. It's time. You know, unleash those guys, okay? Make a decision. Interactive meetings are huge. I don't want to be up here talking all the time. And then I want to teach concepts and not plays. Sometimes that's hard to do as a position coach. And it takes really good teamwork and chemistry amongst your offensive staff for everybody to understand that, hey, we can do the same concept out of this formation, this, and this. It starts with the O-line. Do you want to do inside zone, outside zone to a closed, open-ended on the same day? Or do you want to teach them progression? But you got to think, you got 5 coaches and an OC. It's all got to be on the same page with how those learning progressions go, okay? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to teach a play. You want to teach a concept. You want to teach a concept so that when you get down there, hey, this is our bread and butter. This is day one install. We know they're bringing a funk. Well, man, this was day one. This is what we're doing. This is who we are. This is how we build an identity. So, and then the last thing is treat them like young men. I think that goes for everything, man, is, you know, heck, 7 years ago, I was a 9th grade defensive coordinator at Colquitt County. Okay, I worked for Rush Pros. And I read books, man, and these are young kids. They're 13, 14 years old. And back then, you know, as a 9th grade coach, I coached them all. Like I had them all in one line, baby. We were all working, even the damn corners were, you know what I'm saying? We're all working in one line. But you got to make it fun for them. You got to make it purposeful for them. Like getting a badge, man. I think that was freaking sweet. I thought that was sweet right there. You got to do something that makes this fun. You know what I mean? That's the problem sometimes with college football and professional football. At the end of the day, you're in the backyard, and it was because it was fun, right? It was because it was fun, okay? And the last thing, the most important piece is feedback. If you can think about your player, I challenge you to do this as coaches too, is if you think about your mom, your dad, or your family, get out your phone and text them. If you got something to pray about or do it, just pray it now. Don't wait. Don't wait. I tell my guys all the time, call home. After we win a game or lose a game, call home. That's what got you here. Call home. But feedback is important. There's a lot of things that got you to where you are. And then the next thing is this: what, how, and why. What do y'all think is the most important out of those 3? Or is one more important than the other? The why. Absolutely. And that goes back to concepts and not plays too. What are we trying to get accomplished? We get 15 spring practices, 10 in high school. You're practicing all year long. The amount of reps that, like, we track our reps too, guys, and you got to do this to make a point. Like, this is quality over quantity. Don't just go through Indy and, hey, hit a sled. No, man, I want this looking good. I want to really focus as a coach on that hip, on that first step crossing the line. Whatever it is, it's quality versus quantity. But these guys have got to understand where they stand, okay, to get to a point. Feedback is critical. How many times as coaches would you love for somebody to say, hey, I think you can do this better, and I think you're doing this freaking awesome? We have to seek that out sometimes as coaches. But our players need that every freaking day. Every freaking day, man. And don't be afraid to text one of your guys, man, I thought you had a great practice. Freaking awesome job, man. Be quick to praise guys. Be quick to praise guys, because guess what? They'll run through that freaking wall for you. At the end of the day, that's what it's about up front. You know, I'm going to run through that damn wall for you. My name ain't going to be on the billboard, but by gosh, I'm going to lead the charge. Okay? So that's how I coach, guys. Love to bring energy, attitude, all the things I can control. My time is their time. Okay? Now, we're going to get into this. This is kind of what we'll talk about. Okay? Be honest with you guys, this is the first year I ran duo. Okay? And just, I think, to keep it as general as possible, it does look a lot like inside zone. We're going to go through that discrepancy and talk about it just to simplify a little bit. Talk about it versus different personnels, game planning, okay? And then we'll talk about run actions versus play actions, okay? In our minds, that is two different things, okay? So those will be kind of what we talk about today. Everybody good? Yeah, baby, let's get into this. Okay, so what's the difference in duo and like pistol inside zone, okay? First of all, if you're watching an NFL game, it's really easy to see with a quarterback handoff, especially under center, okay? We'll get into that, okay? Because you'll see those quarterbacks do this, and then they'll reverse out, and then this ball right here, okay? The biggest thing, and I think why this concept's come back, okay, is really if you just treat this like pistol downhill zone. So if we're in this picture right here, okay, we're running duo to the left or inside zone to the right, it's all about the back. That's the really biggest discrepancy, guys. It's about the back and then the double teams up front. Okay, but I could be right here and we're running inside zone downhill. Okay, it would be duo left, but this is also inside zone to the right. I'm reading the back side. Okay, now that back's got a different read. He's reading the zone. He's versus an odd front. You're thinking A to backside C. Okay, if you're thinking gap scheme and it's duo, I'm just reading that one dude right there in the front side backer area. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Here's the reason why I think this has made a huge comeback, and especially even in college football, you're seeing this done now, is the backside tackle on zone. Okay? Like, if you're right here, stand up for me, coach, and you're the right tackle, and I'm right here, and I say, hey, you're running zone to the left, you got to cut me out, don't you? Right. How many guys you know can do that?
High school level?
Yeah.
Maybe a few.
Maybe a few. Appreciate you, coach. Now just angle block me. Angle block me. Is that a lot easier? Come on downhill. Hell yeah, you love that, don't you? Okay? Love it. Thank you, coach. So that's the thing, guys. That is the biggest difference. Okay, I get a 404 mint front. I'd love to run duo because I'm not stressing out that backside tackle. Yeah. And in fact, back in 2017 and 18, okay, there's not many backside tackles in the NFL that can get that done. Okay, and that's why you saw this resurgence of this play coming back. Okay, all this was 80 years ago, and that's the thing. I think you always got to love to study. This was power. Then they had power O. Then they had power G. And they had belly G, belly O. Like that's all it was. This was power, not a guard pull. Okay, and so that's the biggest difference. I think where you gain a couple things that we'll talk about in this, okay, and I think it's always good. We're going to get in and watch some tape, but the running back reads, okay? All right, and I'm going to give all this to you guys, video, everything, you name it, okay? And if y'all got any players, all right, keep that one out. All right, so let's just say we're going duo left, okay? So the back is reading that front side backer area, okay? And I think that's very important. So the guys that you see highlighted up here in yellow, okay, their reaction is the action trigger for the back, okay? Biggest thing is if you notice in all this, that line's not cutting right here. You've got to make cuts at the line of scrimmage at the running back position, okay? If that backer does smoke it up in the A gap, we're going to bounce it. If he pops his feet and then works out, we're going to bang it. If they both replace, he works out, he goes to the next read. Probably bend it back out there and read it, okay? So let's watch a few of these clips right here, okay? All right. So we're going to be running duo to the right here. Okay, we're going to talk about some formational stuff and things like that. If this is a play that you'd like to incorporate in your offense, okay? So we're going to read this backer right here. Okay, front side area, we're running duo to the right. We're going to look at it from this angle right here. So we're looking at my man with all the armbands on right here. So he pops his feet. We're thinking we're banging that thing. Always make cuts at the line of scrimmage. And so we're banging it. Okay, again, we're just watching the running back path. This is duo to the left. Okay, watch from this angle right here, front side backer area. That's his read. If he pops his feet and slow, just bang it. Go get forward. Go get forward. So it's duo left right there, reading the front side backer area. We're just focusing right now on the running back reads because that is the biggest piece of the play. And then we'll talk about being able to hang on doubles.
Is that your splits for every play?
Absolutely not. We got to widen this thing out, especially with us running like wide zone. We like to be 18 inches, okay? And then that's the thing. We start getting tighter. And that's the thing. As the year goes along, what happens? Your O-line, they start getting lazy, man. They start getting lazy. Same thing if you coach punt or special teams. Everybody wants to cut their split, shortens the edge. Like, no, we like to be 18 inches right there, okay? Now, I will say this. Coach Popovich, who's our O-line coach last year, okay, and he's at the Texans now. We do tell those guys, I want you to look at it from this side. We crowd the ball. So, like, we want to be on the football as much as possible. So our helmet's parallel with almost the centers. And that's a little different than most offensive lines because usually you base it off the center's hip, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so we'll get you some clips of that.
Y'all do that all the time? Like if you were going to run the wide zone play, you still have it? Yeah.
But again, we're way too tight on our splits. That's a good point. All right, bounce it right here. So this means this linebacker is going to bang it up in there, okay? So we're running duo to the left right here. Okay, again, just focusing on this front side backer area right here. Okay? Boom. Bang it, I'm bouncing it. He wants to smoke it up, I'm bouncing it. And we'll talk about targeting as we kind of progress through this deal. I really want to focus on the running back. All right? Okay? Now, and here's the thing, like, I do want y'all to see some of this stuff, like, whatever plays, we're getting into unbalance right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay? If any of you guys ever go against the Kirby Smart guys of the world, line up in a nub formation. Gives them more, they hate it. They hate it. Just line up in that, okay? So there's little things like that we get to, and then we're going to run our bread and butter out of it, okay? So right here, we're going to run duo to the left at the point of attack with a tight end. Okay, so we got bang it. This guy wants to come smoke it in the A or trigger, and we can bounce it. So he wants to pull the trigger, we can bounce it. Really good picture right here, hip to hip. And we'll start talking about doubles and stuff like that here in a minute. But that's the whole point. We know that 35 is a read right there. Really 64 can hang in that thing. Let's drive our feet, get hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder. And let's let it hunt. Now I am going to put on a big piece of this now. You got to have a tight end to do this scheme now. Yeah. Okay. I mean, and maybe you're going to see some clips now. We'll throw an extra tackle in there. So if it's something you want to invest in, you know, you do have to have a guy at the point of attack.
Hey, let me ask you this question,
yes,
Coach. A tight end, he's by himself with a 6 technique, right? I've heard some coaches say that's not that hard of a block, just stalemate at the win. I've heard some coaches say it's a very difficult block. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think, so 9 times out of 10, those 6 techniques are going to cancel out and go in a CDI.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I think, like I tell my guys all the time, is like, and I'm going to steal this drill right here, and I wish I had some cut-ups of it. I'm going to turn my guys around just like you did. I think I love it, okay? They got to see the safety, that inside linebacker, and then the edge. You know what I'm saying? But the biggest thing on this is a base block.
Yeah.
So if he wants to cancel inside, I want to wash it. And you're going to see a clip here in a minute, though. What if I got a 3 and a 6 and that mic comes over the top? Okay? So I think it's not a bad block unless they're playing through the VE next. 7 tech is where it gets hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's a good question. 7 tech is where it gets hard. All right, this is the last one. Read it. And this kind of opens us up in the scheme. All right. So again, we're going to condense set coming out right here. All right. Let's look at the read from this area. 1, 2. All right. Then I'm going to read it out. 1, 2. I'm going to read it out. Go get paid right here, 0. That's a big time block, right? That's a big time block. You got to have that too. That's why those 2 clips are organized. You got to have a tight end, and then you got to go dig out safeties, man. But you got to reward them. That's what this talk's going to be about. That's where run actions come in. Because at times, it's going to be hard to go get that guy. Okay? So right here, we're in the red zone. Most teams play quarters or zero in our league down here. Okay, he's going to read it out. All right, guess who's about to make this play? Safety, right? Okay, but what do y'all see? They got too many hats in the box, right? Poor scheme. But what did we just create out here?
Opportunity.
Yeah, I got an opportunity ball. And so that's what we're going to talk about, okay? Because a lot of these teams that are quarters or weak reduction that are bringing that cover 3 concept is they are going to cheat that safety in the fit, right? It's either the safety or the field outside backer. And so you got to have great eyes. This is like wing tee football in 3 dimensions. That's all it is. It's not just surface, it's about space and who are the fitters. Because the amount of gaps doesn't change, guys. We want to add this guy or tighten him in there closer. He may have a shot, but we just lost space by doing that, okay? So reading the back right here, just kind of going through those reads. Obviously, you read it out, okay? And we will go pistol. We will go offset gun, okay? Once that quarterback snaps, we're shuffle, reading it out, okay? And this is where it gets tough. I want to focus on this because you need to know the weaknesses of every play. Like anytime you get a scheme, I learned this from Buck Hansen. He was at Enterprise. He's a big time. He's been an O-line coach for a while. But Buck, during those PD deals, man, he'd have that notebook out and he would try every pressure versus his top runs that he liked. And I always love that. But if you get a 3 and a 5 right here, okay, you get a 3 and a 5, okay. So I want to talk through this before we get in the scheme of it. All right, but we do call this an ace, a deuce, trade. That's what we're going to call it for now. Is everybody good with that? Okay. So your one-on-one right here with a tight end, but when you have a 3 technique, a tight 5, what's this backer probably going to do? They're going to gap cancel, right? 3 and a 5 can spike. This guy can end up being your C-gap fitter. It's the hardest thing. This is what can hurt this scheme. Okay, that's what good teams do, is they want to cancel that thing out. Because now, as you see right here, now you're going to see our left tackle Stidham do a good job of getting back to it. But see, we don't have a player or fitter for 24. Everybody see that, okay? So what we would end up calling, like, you got to have something in your arsenal for scenarios like this, right, guys? You got to have, like, for instance, if I had man-on-man outside and we're running vertical power scheme, you got to be able to have an opportunity to collect that guy, get the play started, okay? So we would add a tag to this, like, all right, I got a 3-5 and that backer's displaced, okay? Now I want to say deuce, and I'm going to let that guard know, like, hey, man, I might have to get back on this wall over here, okay? So you got to have some tags like that. I did want to pause it right here because this is an issue within the scheme that can get you that you have to work and replicate, okay? All right, any questions so far on the running back reads? The biggest difference, again, is just that back is reading the front side backer area, not a gap, okay? And then we'll talk about doubles and all that. Now, personnel groupings. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is how we install, I make it as simple as this. We got a tight end back there, we're in 11 personnel, okay, or 20 personnel. How many blockers we got? 6. And that's how you have to teach, I think this is how you have to teach this, because this is a man scheme, okay? It's a man scheme. If I'm in 12 or 21 personnel, I got 7 blockers. Don't you think our O-line needs to know too? Like, hey man, we're about to get a crowded box. So I think you gotta also tell your O-line too what type of personnel you're in within your runs. Like if your coordinator's not doing that for you, that can screw them up. Like for instance, if you're in a spread set, and I mean, how does the backside tackle, if you're running zone, know he's got the tight end with him or not? If you call it the same thing. What if you want him to lock it back on a 4-1 box or something like that? Okay, so I think it's very important to understand that is your O-line needs to know what personnel's in there. However you call it, whatever it is, it's a different word in the same category. Okay, but we got to understand that certain guys we can't account for. In 11 or 20 personnel, we got 6 blockers, so we can take care of 4 down guys and 2 inside backers. So we're going to have to handle the nickel with an RPO, or we're going to have to go block them with another small body. Okay, everybody good on that? 12 personnel, now we can account for the nickel. Now small bodies are on small bodies with DBs, okay? All right. All right, let's just take a look at some of these. This is going to be 11 personnel duo. All right, now we're going to focus on some technique, okay? And so I want you seeing this. This is kind of this quarters, cover zero deal. Well, they're spinning it right here. Sam's going to come. All right, but they did play a lot of that. Did y'all ever see a lot of combo quarters where it turns into zero on the fit, Pat Narduzzi stuff? All right, you got to make these guys pay when they get that Sam in the fit. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we're going to run duo to the left. So what calls we make right here? Ace is going to be front side guard, deuce, and this is a tray. Y'all talk to me. Ace and a what? Ace and a tray. Okay, I want to be hip to hip. All right. So we're going to say ace to the wheel, tray to the mic. Ace to the wheel, tray to the mic. All right. We want to get hip to hip, and here's some coaching points on this. All right. When I'm teaching tight ends, and then how we teach our O-line on this. And Coach Popovich did a great job with this. Okay, as it is near leg, near shoulder, hip to hip, shoulder contact. Okay. And so, great way to train that. Now, I don't like to use a lot of equipment. To be honest with you, we got painted lines out there on the field. Okay, and my eyes can only be on one spot. You know, I love my wife because she's got a nice rear end, and that's all I was looking at that time. Okay, but my eyes are looking at feet. And so, how do you train this? Okay, if I am at right tackle, you have that line right there. It's a 6-inch step, and I've got to get to that line. Okay, well, you'll see a lot of times on the backside of inside zone, or on the front side of this duo, and my guys are the worst, man. Literally, all we've done all spring long is work. Hey, I want that foot right there to get to that line. That's where I want it to get to, because I've got to create momentum. This is the most important piece on this on the double. All right, my guy's going to be lateral. He false steps right here, not good. Okay, but it's that first step going forward. That's the coaching point. So it's not great. It's a good result, but it's not great. Okay, that's just effort by him blocking. But the footwork can be better. Okay? All right, right here, we're in a bunch up top left, running duo left. All right? Let's see if y'all remember this. Where's the issue going to be? We're running duo left right here. Can't get to who? That Mike. We got a 3 and a 5 right there. Okay, so that's 2 instances right there. This was week 2. West Kentucky was week 4. All right, so this is something we're good at. We average 5.8 per attempt. Okay, we need to have an answer for this. All right, let's make something, right? So instead of saying we could go deuce right here, we know we're taking that deuce to the mic. Okay, we had a dot backside of his backside backer. Okay, 79's got to end up coming and helping who? The tight end, if we want to get this thing hatted up, right? Okay, if you have a bread and butter scheme, and there's something that you're constantly seeing, guys, build an answer for it. So you're not sitting there on the sideline and freaking drawing this junk up. Build an answer for it. So we got this week 2, week 4, got it cleaned up by week 5. This is year 1.
How do you communicate that, Coach?
So we were going to say, and, you know, I'll just be, because we've changed some calls up. We would say deuce wall. Okay? So we would say deuce wall, meaning that, hey, that tackle's going to give you some immediate help, but the guard now is going to be thicker on the block. Now that tackle can now wall back. Okay?
Why is your back not just banging this in the A gap? His read is expanded.
Absolutely. No doubt. So let's look at this.
I guess I just see the wall even, but at the end of the day.
Yeah, no doubt. That's exactly what he should be doing. Okay? Because this guy is working back out. So there's a couple things right there. Absolutely.
Coach, you ever give the backside tackle draw fundamentals to mix it up on this?
Yes, we will. And sometimes, like, we're getting guys that rush up the field. Man, we'll actually release him, and then and then work our guard out to it as well. Yeah.
Hey, I got some. You might be going to talk about this later, but can you talk about the right there, the backside center or the backside guard and the center combo? Because we tried to install this for a little bit, like inside zone. But that combo doesn't really occur in inside zone.
No doubt.
Our guard's working back. So how do you teach that?
Great question. Well, what do you want to start with? What everybody struggles with is what do they want to name that combo? Because truthfully, and I've been in systems where like center right guard, it's a race. Center left guard is a loop. However you want to do it, or that's a single. We called it a dot this past year, which means to double the off tackle. Okay, it's up to you. All right. The biggest thing is still you want it to be a vertical combo. And you're right, like who is the post and the trail player?
Right.
We want to be hip to hip and get in movement, man. Because at the end of the day, that backside backer, he's away from the play. Like we know that ball we want to hit over here.
Would you ever gallop the guard if he was covering the center real heavy?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
To get in it thicker.
Yeah.
No question. No question. All right, right here. Okay, you know, if you find a bread and butter play, man, make it a tempo. Change tempos with it. Give it deception. Okay, and that's kind of what we're doing right here against WKU. All right. Right here, we got a 4-2 over. Okay. This isn't bad. You can see how that front side double right there is hanging on there. Love it. We're stuck. You know, I thought it was a great coaching point with the A-gap power last night. Okay, we're stuck. We got to keep driving, stay on it, stay on it. Back should really now hit inside of the tight end. Get vertical, get forward, get forward. Okay? What do y'all notice about all these sets though? Or what?
Convenience, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay? So then you got to start with something else. Why are we compressed? Because we're asking what? Those receivers to do what? They got to go dig those dudes out. Okay? Now, what does that do for a defense? Nobody else in our league ran this many compressed sets. So guess what they had to work on? Us. It was new. Great point. Everybody was working inside zone, 96% of Canadian football. You know, like this was beautiful. Our defenses had to see this right away. They got a plan for it. And can you still run this scheme out of spread sets? Absolutely, but you got to account for that nickel in some way. Okay. Now here's a little trick or treat right here. You know, this is game 1. We took 16. You know, it's always nice to have a little Geico in there. This kid's from North Alabama. His daddy coaches up there at Marshall. Peyton Higgins, man, he's getting him a big old lick on a D-line. 74 is first career start. We're running duo to the left right here. We really like 89 and 79 on the tray. I don't like it's the first step's not bad by 89. We're getting near leg, drive off the football. Okay? All right. Now, college football is trending towards this. 3 high safety. Oh, great. Love it. You know, Iowa State was doing that a bunch, and that's what we're trending to. At the end of the day, gap down backer, right? Don't make it hard. Gap down backer. There's a lot of dudes in the mix, right? Okay, how many of you guys are seeing this 3 high safety stuff? Okay, you got to count. I know Clay was doing some of it and some other teams. You got to understand who are those primary fitters. At the end of the day, they don't want some safety in there. They're going to mix it up every now and then, but you got to understand a primary fitter, and you got to bastardize it however you want to. Okay, and understand that guy is a part of the fit. Okay, Vic Conan did a great job of that at La Monroe and everywhere he's been. You got to understand who's a part of the fit. Like, look at that. We're going to talk about that in some of this game plan stuff. All right. So we can bring a guy across post snap just as a cleanup. We're still targeting men right here. If it is a weird picture, just stay with our rules, gap down, backward.
Yeah. Hey, say that there was no penetration.
Yeah.
Right, on that. What's his rule there? Number 18.
So 16?
You're 16, yeah.
Yeah, so 16 right here is really just like a split flow guy. He's going to read the edge of the defense. Okay? So if that backer did work over the top and the back pounded in here just like he did, 16 is just leading up through there. What we're looking at is, okay, well, how would this naked look?
Right, right.
You know what I mean? This is just an eye candy deal because, man, you're playing a team that's technically got more talent than you. Man, we need to get these guys in different places, give them different fits. But he's keying our edge man on the line of scrimmage is about as easy as we keep it for him, okay? We're wanting him because you got to think, so we're man-oriented right here, all right? So we're always big on big. We're counting for 4 D linemen or 3 down guys and these 3 backers with 6 men to block. Everybody good on that? Okay? So when he cruises across here, we're expecting him to cruise across here for, you know, a smaller body guy, whether it's the corner or the safety, okay? All right, see, we're doing this out of a spread set. We're in an X-off scenario right here, okay? Again, you take your bread and butter, make it good. You know, it's like a good gumbo. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So we got a 6-man of a scheme, right? So this guy's got to go block this guy. Okay, everybody good on that? All right. Now 15 turns this down like a chump, but that's the difference between a chump and a champ. Okay, we end up scoring this thing, but I do want you guys seeing, well, what's the issue? Okay, like if you have a bread and butter run scheme, and let's just say that's one of your dudes, right? And he's really good at catching the football. Do you want to ask him to go block that nickel every time? Man, give me the ball, coach. You know what I mean? No, what can we do right here? This is where we got to get creative. Let's RPO this thing, man. Throw him a bubble right here. Boom. Whatever it is, okay? That's got to be a backward lateral. He should be covered up right there in the X-off scenario. All right. But as we're looking right here, so we would have a ace right here and a tray. Ace right here and a tray, okay? Ace and a tray. All right. So let's get to some RPOs. We got to do a lot more of these. That's the thing, guys. When you're studying stuff, who's making the plays, all this good stuff. Like we got to throw a bubble. We got to get it out in space a little bit more and do some of that stuff. So right now, okay, this is a good picture. So here's the nickel up top. Mike, Will right here. So do we ever block the nickel in this? No, we got 6 guys blocked. We got 4 down guys, we got 2 inside backers. So that nickel now, instead of blocking him, there's 15. We're going to correct that issue. All right, let's throw them an RPO. We'll just read them. We're still running duo right here. Everybody good on that? Just be like a zone RPO. Really like this by the right tackle, right guard. Boom, hip to hip. Then when we get in these tight formations right here, you know, we'll give a quick out, things like that. When teams start sucking up in there, you got to have those abilities to get out there. And then obviously you got to have perimeter runs if you're going to condense everything. You know, good defense is what they do to this deal is they'll break corners off of both edges. Okay, they'll do more exotic stuff. You got to prepare for that, but you got to keep them honest. If you can have the perimeter run off your bread and butter, then they at least got to stay honest with what they do too. Okay. But again, right here, just reading nickel or leverage. We'll run this same scheme. So again, our guys didn't really run inside zone. We ran duo. Okay, doubles. That back's got the front side backer. That's literally what we did. We just subbed instead of running inside zone, we ran more duo than anything. Okay, right here, instead of us traying, so right here we got that 3-5-9. We know that they were going to play that to the tight end surface. Later on, we said, well, you know what? We'll just read the mic now. The mic stays in the box. We're going to take this tight end out of it because who would the tight end have had? They would have been in a deuce right here, deuce to 24, dot right here to 23, and then he would have had 34. Okay? So we're going to lock this backside. It looks just like zone lock. We're really just running duo right here, reading off of 24. Okay? Still running the same scheme. Same thing that y'all saw against the Ole Miss clip. Okay, if you are running against a nub, got to have an answer for a small body on a small body. Okay, so we're just getting to that late. That same picture right there. All right, I was gonna get rolling with this thing and get to some of these run actions. Y'all good with it? Yeah. All right. Just as you talk about that whole deal, okay, on your bread and butter, like, know what it is. You know, I watched some of your schools, and this past year, like, I love watching high school football on Friday nights now. Give me a 6-pack, go to work, get my notebook out, man, I'm hunting it up, I'm watching recruits. Like, that is what I love to do. And so I get all kinds of ideas, all right? Don't be afraid to try. I mean, one thing, like, Rich Rod found out zone read because they just didn't block the end. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to make mistakes, but I think this is the biggest thing. Like at Kentucky, we were the top 3 offensive line in the country for 3 years in a row. We were Joe Moore semifinalists every single year at Kentucky from 17 to 19 when I was working with Florida. We ran 2 schemes. Ran inside zone and counter. That was it. That was it. We were really damn good at it. But you know what? Because when you came over to the house, that joker was going to taste better than any damn gumbo you'd had anywhere else. But what's in your gumbo? All right, you got to dress it up. Okay, I don't think you can be great at running I mean, it's hard to be good at everything. You've got to find out what you're good at. Okay, these are some of the questions that we ask in game planning. Okay, we're playing Penn State 2018 in the Citrus Bowl. We're in a 3-by-1 formation. We thought going into the week that the boundary safety was a poor fitter, okay, but we still wanted to run it to the field to the dude that was a good fitter, Micah Parsons, who plays for the Cowboys. He's a pretty good player. And he made like tackle after tackle. Halftime, we come back in, it's like, Coach, we can't account for the sand right here to the field. Let's run this joker into the boundary. Same play. We're gonna run into the boundary. 66 yards. Bam. Get the ball down to the plus 38. We're freaking rolling. We're cooking with grease. All right, so my point is this, is how many of us spend time on tracking missed tackles between the secondary fitters? Like, wouldn't you like to have a good run that becomes explosive? Like, that's important. How many times you get a stat sheet that says how many missed tackles the other team had? That's the work. You got to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's either that field outside linebacker or the boundary safety. You've got to account for those guys. Like, don't go in it blind and say, I like this because the other team did it. Well, hell, you may not have the running back the other team did. But guys that can't tackle or can't block, usually that's going to be a habit. That becomes a part of their identity. Attack it. Attack it. Okay? Can we implement a good play? A bread and butter play is a tempo. Ask yourself that. Like, hey, you're in spring ball, it's practice 8. Golly, man, that wide zone's looking pretty good out of that. Our guys got a good feel for it. All right, let's go. Let's give it a shot, man. Let's give this thing a name. Like, we all got names. Everybody had to learn us, right? Okay, just give it a name. Make it quick. Okay, get lined up. Wide zone's a great play. And mid zone's a great play. Okay? Same with duo, man. At the end of the day, it's just gap down backers for us when things ain't clear. During the game, the coach says we can't account for him. He keeps making the tackle. Okay, I was at Murray State, man. That boundary safety, like, you know, thinking that when I was at Kentucky that we were going to just be able to run up. You know, we didn't have the O-line that we did at Murray State, okay? And you got free guys that are coming in to make plays. How are you accounting for those guys? You okay with him just keep making the tackle? Or do you have an answer for that? Do we have an answer for when WKU wanted to bring that safety in there and our back read it back close to the red zone? Do we have an answer for that? Do you have a guy out there in the box that you trust to say, oh boys, it's on. Let's go smoke them right now. Like at the end of the day, screw the defense. We are on the ones with the attack. You know, we're Maximus. That's who we are. We're here to seize the day, baby. Like screw the defense. Oh, man, they're getting us, coach. I can't account for him. Screw that, man. Let's make them pay, okay? And then just dress up, man. Make your gumbo better, okay? All right, so we never ran duo. Last year was first year I ran duo, but here's the deal. So I'm sitting there. We essentially ran duo in 2019 in Kentucky, okay? We were a heavy zone team. I'm sitting here and I'm watching this play. Okay, I'm 27 years old. This is Monday Night Football. It's the Cowboys and the Giants. And I'm like, golly, okay, this is third down, all right, 3rd and 4 right here. Okay, what's going on right here? We got to get 4 yards. Are they running zone read? Does the running back know that he wants to keep the football? Hell, they got the first down. My point is this play right here was watching in 2017. We ended up having 3 quarterbacks that go out in 2019. All right? But you know what? We're going to take that running back and block it. All this is Q duo. Don't ever stop growing. If I'm y'all, this is a great short yardage play, guys. Okay? If you run zone, if you do anything like that, okay, all this was Q duo. So we were a heavy zone team. So how do you get around it? How do y'all run zone in here? Like, and is that your primary scheme? Some of y'all, that was our primary scheme. So instead of coming up with something new during a bye week, okay, We just said, hey, we're gonna run zone left right here. All right, that's the read, okay? But now we're just gonna tag it with something. So we just tagged it. We said zone left, gap, which really we call that Toledo right there, Toledo gap. Which now meant, hey man, we're gonna gap block it. You still got the same dudes, but throw your head on the backside of play. That's how we got away with it, okay? Now, I think this is good because we're running Q duo right here, okay? All it is gap, okay? What is 70 trying to do right here? This is, again, we never really, we had to make something quick and on the run. 70's trying to dig this dude out like if it was zone. Hey, watch this. Joke's hard right there, guys. Really, if he would have just gapped it, it'd been an easier block. So, we ran duo back in 19 with a quarterback. I wanted to show you guys this again because I love these clinics. This was something like, man, if you see a play out there, guys, and y'all can have my phone number, call me, holler at me. I love to talk. I mean, that ain't got power of sorrows. I ain't done with you, dog. You about to get a lot more love from me, man, you know? I mean, you know, here it is in 19. We were running Q duo essentially, but this is a great short yardage play and it's really shown up this past year in college football. You're making it look like the zone action, right? But really what you teach, you know, and again, we kind of bastardize this deal, okay? But it's just one step right there by the running back, and then he's got the first thing off the edge, all right? And I don't have it on this because I really just wanted to show you the run. The next phase of it is third and short. He's got the first thing off the edge, and you send a tight end down the poop sheet and go have fun and celebrate, okay? So whatever your scheme is that you're good at, you can dress this deal up. Everybody got me on that? And again, I think this would be a great short yardage deal. It helps you seal edges. Sustained fits, all right? You know, this ain't even mine. This was in a cut up, but I was like, golly, you know, this is off season of 2020 right here. I didn't get to coach. I was hauling cars for Enterprise, baby. Had to make that wing good, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get to coach, but I got to watch a lot of ball, okay, which was awesome. But I'm like, golly, this ain't bad right here. Same concept. Runckel, Mendenhall, those guys did a really good job. Just being creative. You know what I mean? And really a lot of that stems from wing T principles too, with the Q follow play and stuff like that. But great third guard. You know, if you wanted to invest in duo, man, you could have a Q run out of it. That would be very easy to do as well. You know, I studied this play. Georgia running it last year. We're going to get into the meat right here. I think y'all guys will like this. Georgia, man, they didn't like ID it up. Them receivers, like, I think they were giving bones or something, man, because they would just come in there. And it didn't matter if it was a Mike linebacker. It was just like, boom! And so, freaking good stuff. If you ever watched Georgia last year, they didn't really start running that scheme until like the third quarter of games. Like, I think that's something also to pay attention to and how games called. Like, you got your bread and butter runs, but then you got that run like, hey, pound. Like, dude, it's on. We come out in the third quarter, we about to pound it down your ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's that A-gap power that you want to run. It's the duo play you want to run. But now, this is where we get into play actions, run actions, okay? So, a play action is not a run action to us, okay? Play actions to us have rules, meaning that it's like gap. Okay, do I have something for the front side edge if this happens? For the back side edge if this happens? Okay, or the interior pressure piece of it. Run actions, we target just like the run. So if it's a man scheme like duo, guess what? If we're 11 personnel, we got the 4 down linemen, the 2 inside backers. Okay, the backs now got the nickel to the safeties. It's going to look exactly like it because we're targeting it just like the run. Everybody good on that? Okay. OL and 2 tight ends. Now our back, this is the key pieces. You got to be able to separate these because the back no longer has a nickel and 12 personnel. Now he's got 4th element, meaning DB, safeties and corners. Everybody good on that? Okay. I do want to share some concepts with y'all that you can take with you. This is literally who we were, guys. Like, we weren't great on offense in year 1. That's the other thing. You got to compliment your defense. You better love it too when they're doing well, right? When you got a defensive head coach, he expects that ball to be ran. It don't matter if you're up by 14 points, he's going to want you to run it, okay? All right, but Coach Summerall and those guys did a great job. All right, 11P run action. So let's go ahead. We'll talk about this. This all stems from the New England Patriots, guys, okay? here's the most important piece of this, okay? And I know a lot of you guys, at the end of the day, it's always cool when you're an O-line coach, so being able to have, all right, man, I got an answer for that. That damn safety wants somebody to play? Well, come on with it, okay? So what we have here is really a shoot. What we call a shoot route is that it's a read it route, okay? Now we understand it's a run action. So the rule is in this, and I'll show you in the tape. We're looking at this picture right here. If those backers do fit or trigger on a run, I got to get my head around. Has everybody got that one? Number 2 right here. The Z is going to spray it outside, attack leverage, and he's coming back inside. We're going to take a look at some of these concepts right here, okay? So here we are again. We're running this off of duo, okay? This is a run action. Backers trigger, ball. Backers trigger, ball. Okay, that's a tough one right there just because of the defensive structure. We'll get to a couple others. This was our top play in 2022. Okay? And here's the deal, guys. I think you can do this with any of your bread and butter run schemes. You know, if you're a wide zone guy, maybe it's semi roll and figure out how you're going to get the pocket. But this is a great concept for us. And the reason why it was a good concept, it's what our quarterback likes to throw. That's big right there. You got to know what your quarterback likes to throw. Okay, so right here we got a shoe with an N. Okay, run this off of duo, run action. And so the O-line gets up there. I'm going to go back to that. But we're right here. We're in a dot and a deuce. Boom. Same calls. Okay, same calls. Everybody good on that? Again, I'm replacing those backers trigger ball. There is no landmark for this route. It's not, hey, get to 10 yards. It's, hey, get your ass open. Okay? And again, that's kind of just how we taught it. All right. Now, this is another way to get it. It's still the same, similar concept, but another way to possibly attack quarters. Okay, our guy still right here has a shoot, more of a clear out though. This guy's going to attack leverage and then come back inside. Okay? Again, if it's a good play for you, give it a tag. Give it a one-word deal. Line up in it. Okay? All right, here we are. So looking at the protection right here, knowing that we got 6 blockers, we're going to take care of those 4 down linemen, those 2 backers. Okay? We're going to say deuce wall, 3-5, there's a Mike. Okay? So I'm right here. Back's got every DB, nickel to DBs. Biggest point for the back is look at safety rotation. There they are rotated. The way we teach a lot of that stuff is, could this guy come? Can't. Safety's inside of him. All right? So he knows that his eyes have got to be over there now. So he's got the safety on the pickup. It's a good pickup, good picture of the protection aspect of it. Target just like we would call it in duo. Okay? A stray. Again, the guy's clearing it out right here. Not doing a great job, but left open. Let's see here. All right. Now, here's the beauty of this play. Okay, or when you call a run action. What if those DBs and all that, like, you know, as an O-line coach, you hate RPOs, to be honest with you. Sometimes you do, right? Because then it's, you know, there's a gash that's there when you throw that ball out there. I was in the Tony Franklin system, man, and we would block our digs off on zone, and we'd be throwing bubble after bubble. I mean, couldn't stand it. I told Coach Edmonton, I was like, man, I said, can we call this another thing? Like, y'all know y'all gonna throw that out there and all this good stuff? Well, here's the great thing about this. Is the guys know the ball's getting passed, right? Well, if the quarterback doesn't like the look, he's just gonna say crap, 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 or can. Guess what? We've already targeted how we would block the run. Now we're running that thing. You know? That's the beauty of it. With the difference in play actions is you can't do that. Like if you're running a power read play action, you got to have a hot throw if they're bringing backside pressure or whatever it is. But if those guys are too high, we'll give a rule for that quarterback and say, hey, just give the ball. Just can. Crap, whatever it is, okay? It's like right here, we could have easily done that. Okay? Again, just looking at some of these run action concepts. All right, here's the last one to talk about. This is some, this is a goodie, especially if the high school hashes and college hashes are beautiful. Take advantage of the field, okay? All we're doing right here is we're in an FIB formation. These are all left hash base, okay? But we're in an FIB formation, and we're just getting to a high-low on the other side of the field, okay? High-low on the other side of the field. The biggest coaching point on this is the shallow runner, okay? Like in this picture right here, the X is you're 4 yards trying to just get there. And you are on a beeline 4 yards, so you gotta look at the freaking sticks. You're on a beeline 4 yards on the opposite hash, and you gotta get there, okay? You'll see this here in a minute versus Alabama A&M, okay? But this is good stuff, and we like to run this out of FIB. You know, this is, if we like the duo scheme there, this is a good run action off of it, okay? So let's take a look at this. We're gonna hit both of them, usually on shallow right here, tight bunch set, FIB right here, kind of balls in the middle of the field. Again, we're blocking this like a 11P duo run action. All right, 11 right here is gonna haul tail 4 yards. This is perfect. Like this ain't bad, it's about 4 to 6, but he wants to get open and get to that spot. We're high-low on that curl flat defender on the other side, okay? One high, we don't wanna crap this or can this play. We're gonna roll and run action. Same thing right here. Key is get to that spot. Get to that spot. You gotta have plays like this, guys. Like, if you ever watch tape, like on fast forward 100 times, you can find out a lot about an OC. Like that's what a defense coordinator told me. You know, one time Matt House was at LSU. He's like, he just watched that thing and fast forward. Like, dude, if you're running duo and inside zone schemes, guess what the defense is doing the whole time? They're just playing within that box. Like, you gotta stretch the defense. We didn't have a lot of run schemes that did that, but some of these pass plays did and accomplished that, along with sweeps and stuff.
What are you telling the quarterback here? What is he reading?
So it's high-low right here, okay? So really, he's reading this curl flat defender who works out here, my man right there. You see how he's looking up nothing. And that's the other thing. We run a ton of different run actions right here, okay? But he's reading really this space right here. That dude's in no man's land. He's gonna dump it down here. This is just like a check down, okay?
Will you ever hand off duo across the quarterback's face, or is it always same side?
That's a great question. So no, we will. Okay, now that is a tough read progression for the back because now backers are flowing. You know, it's a little more difficult. So if you ever do see us doing something like that, it's either lead zone. We're gonna just change it and call it lead zone. You know, tight end, close in zone. The biggest thing is he can put this back wherever he wants to in this run action though. Like if he knows he likes a matchup, like there's some other stuff that we have like free access hitches, you know, we see a lot of cover 3. Take it, move the back where you want him to go. If you know you want to go with a ball over there. Or have a code word for your back. You know, in Kentucky we'd say purple, which meant, hey, if we're passing this thing, don't even worry about taking the ball. Okay? All right. This is a can opportunity right here. Again, don't need to run a run action right here. If you're a quarterback, y'all like that? Yeah, I'm just gonna run the ball, to be honest, because I mean, this nickel's way out there, safety's a late fitter, they're all at 12 yards, like, we can run the rock right here. So that's the beauty of run actions, okay? Find out what your quarterback's good at. If you notice on all these routes, some type of vertical by 2 with an end by 1. Okay, guess what? That's where our quarterback loves to throw. You know, now what sucks nowadays is college football and NFL, they got this PFF junk and they got all these guys that track where their ball location is. And so you gotta be able to mix it up a little bit, or defenses will play coverage just based on where the quarterback likes to throw the ball all the time. Yeah. You know, people are doing that work for you now, as far as analytics and stuff goes. Same thing, now here's 12P, this is a thing of beauty. Again, Safeties are usually the ones that can't account for, right? We got 7 4-down linemen, 3 backers, and, so now the running back has the other DB elements, okay? Usually what we'll do is we'll take a curl, 14 back to 12, and then we're attacking leverage right here, because we are in a tight split, okay? We call that just a, corn or a diagonal, whatever you wanna call it, viper. Yeah, I'm gonna give all this stuff to you guys. I just think it's really good, as an O-line coach, you know what you like to run, but what is that answer? Okay, the safety's making a play. You know what I mean? Well, let's have this in our arsenal. Okay, again, a lot of this comes from the Patriots, and some of it comes from Liam over there at the Rams, who's now at Kentucky. So this is against Coastal right here. Bring corner fire, good job by the back. So we're all fitted up right here. One-on-ones. There's our curl up top, attacking leverage right here. And again, we're just getting one-on-one on both sides. Love it. Love it. We're making the defense stay honest. Okay? So right here, we're running 12 personnel duo. Okay? Ace to 1, Trey to 21. That other tight end, the F is by himself on 26. We practice the crap out of that right there. I'll be honest, I didn't even know he caught the ball. It's like, goodness gracious. Again, here's that safety, one to trigger, look. I got one-on-one.
Hey, on that last clip, when the running back went to the other side, I mean, y'all talk about that?
Yeah. So, no, that's a good point. So, we've got those 7 guys, but look at what the quarterback's doing right here. You got 2 dudes stacked over 1. And so, yes, we do try to train that or highlight, hey, man, like that's where it is, especially when the back's in the pistol. That's where it gets real tough. When you're in the gun and the pistol, like, if you can go under center, like, man, with all these schemes, it's great. Do it, okay? Especially if you have the confidence of wide zone and mid zone and things like that. But, man, we weren't going to ask these guys to do something and change in year 1. We may do some more of it this year under center because, man, that is tough. You're a pistol right there. You know the quarterback's giving a quick mesh, fake mesh, and you got to get to a super duper edge threat. Yeah. So that's what you see the quarterback doing right there.
Is that on your quarterback or your tailback right there?
No, the tailback's got to know it, but the quarterback's kind of pointing, hey man.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like when it's a bread and butter play, we can call it quickly. That quarterback's keying on all those things because he wants to know where his one-on-one's going to be. Yeah. Now, like if that corner was way off and all those DBs were way off, he's canning the play. We're going to run the ball. Does that make sense? So we're only taking like 3 of these in.
The quarterback's got to find his one-on-one. That's what his best hitter is.
That's it. But man, you're running the rock, you're running a bread and butter scheme, and that safety's making the play. Well, do you want to challenge your quarterback to do an RPO and you have to change something up front? Okay? I mean, it's got to be about who you want to be. If you're Wake Forest, you can sit there and jack that thing off all day you want, but is that who you are? Did you invest time into that? And so what I really liked about this is the first year. Coach Popovich did a great job bringing this to us. I think this is beautiful, man, because at the end of the day, your quarterback, you're not putting it all on that quarterback just to be right every time on an RPO. This is truly a pass run option. Like that safety's making that play a bunch and he's low. Like now it's like, okay, all right, man, keep on bringing this deal. It's on. You know what I mean? And so we're expecting a one-on-one. Yep, he's got the 4th element, 4 DBs. So not bad right there. Same thing here. Now the safety's fitting inside. He's got him. There's our one-on-one. We tore these guys up with this, man. We literally ran 5 plays. So that's how some of these games are. I mean, you watch. It's all about who you are. Tennessee ran a total of 14 plays in the last 2 games against Clemson and the other deals. Just breaking those guys down. Like this is who we are. We're run duo. We're gonna run action off of it. You want to bring that extra support fitter in there? All right, let's go. We're attacking you. Okay.
Sarkisian was doing that at Bama.
Yep. No doubt. This is and that's the thing. At Bama, Saban kind of has the Patriots. Everybody, like he's got his own columns of what the Patriots call him. You know, and that's another thing in itself. Wolfie freaking has his own columns of how he knows it too. So, no, you're exactly right. All right, getting unbalanced right here, running just the same concept. We're in 12 personnel, bringing Sam strong safety, safety bails out of it, just popping it again. Guys stacking outside, he's trying to run vertical, take that safety with him. Their guys coming back underneath. All this is the same concept we were doing on 11 personnel. I know it's getting a little late. Is everybody good?
Yeah.
Any questions? Here, we'll watch a couple more of these. Again, do a run action. 12 personnel, just shallow post. So like if you're good at mid zone or outside zone, like, man, it may not be a bad idea to practice some waggle stuff. Like, you know, this is what we were good at, okay? You get one-on-ones. We want to make sure we honor that. Right here on the run action, again, we're in 12P, so we got 4 down. Got the 4 down dudes, 3 down, you know, the weak side overhang, strong side overhang. So they're working right there. In tandem to him, we got an ace, and we got a tray. It is a total man scheme. All right, tight ends can't get their eyes on Nichols. Nichols is the running backs. That's where 12. Yeah, all this is really just deep overs. All right. Last thing on when you talk about this stuff. Here's the deal. Well, I love this stuff as an O-line guy, okay? Is if any of y'all are edge rushers, and I do this right here, you licking your chops, you know it's on, you're about to give me a pass rush, okay? We're treating this just like we would a run. You're coming off the ball, and so now, if defenders are taught right, what are they doing? Hey, got your gap. I got my gap. So you're gonna get right here. All right, gap. Okay, then they see ground ball up, and then it's reaction. So what did you just do right there? You bought time. Like the days I think of 5-0 linemen, you know, I was one of them vertical setters, baby. Like I love that, but man, we see so many good edge rushers, and you gotta have a plan for those guys. And so run actions are a really good way to put your O-line, especially if you don't have athletic guys here or there. Put your guys in a position where it looks like run, you're about a second and a half right there. And then you got an opportunity to throw the ball down there, all right? And guys, I'll send this to y'all. There's my number. If y'all ever want to come out to spring ball or any of that, come on anytime. Any questions? I wanted to give y'all a lot maybe to think about, you know. At the end of the day, you find out what you guys are good at, and y'all holler at me anytime.
Coach, I want you to talk about, I had a question.
Yeah.
I want you to kind of reiterate or elaborate on the differences between what you call run action and play action.
Okay. We should have a whiteboard in here, but
Yeah, me too.
it's all good. We can all visualize things, okay? All right, so play actions is more gaps, right? Let's just imagine we're all in 2x2 and we're running power read into the boundary. This is a play action, okay? When you get double edge pressure, well, how are you dealing with that? All right, you gotta have rules so we don't necessarily have men now, okay? And so usually like the old school power read, play action in the boundary, if you knew you were getting backside pressure, the quarterback's gonna have a slant or some type of hot or out in the throw. All right, it's built in. You have rules that are built into the play action, right? Okay. And so the difference is in the run action, I have men.
Okay, yeah, I got you now.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Keep going. So I have men now. All right. Okay. Now the biggest thing is like with that being said, I have men and play actions. Okay. There's a lot more rules that come with it. I guess the thing, do you want to put a bunch of rules on your own line? Is it a scheme? Like if it's a scheme that you do really well, make it a run action. We target these men. Okay, if it's mid-zone, it's 3 steps. I want to stay square to the line of scrimmage, and we're sending rolling so I can stay on the backside shoulder pad to stay square. But I still got these men or same reactions as the run, and make it a run action.
What about your demeanor in a play action play?
Yes, that's a great point, because demeanor and play actions are usually a lot less.
Yeah.
Because they know, okay, there's all rules based. So those dudes get up there, it's like, all right, gotta make a back call right here. You know, if we're running some type of power read play action, I'm just going off with that one, because that's the most common one in college football. You know, some type of token fake with a back, guard getting around, has C gap. Okay? It's all how you dress it up. Like I tell you, Jay did a good job at Ole Miss. And I don't know if y'all watch those guys, but they do a lot where it's just a simple token fake, outside zone token fake, okay? But they're really just targeting like they would a pass pros, just firmer protection.
Yeah.
Okay? But that's rules based. I mean, if the backer walks up on the line of scrimmage, they have to have a rule that says, hey, we're gonna fan out the end now, and now you as the running back's got the inside guy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less thought process here. It's like, hey, dude, we've been saying ace trade, 3 down front, ace trade, that's who we got. It's a run action. We're coming off the ball hard, 3 steps. I got 3 yards. Let's make the officials do some work too. But you're exactly right. You do run into that issue with O-linemen. Like, slide protection's the worst. What happens when you do a slide protection? The quarterback's coach always looks at you and says, like, are we still in run right here, man? You know, because what does O-lineman do? I'm right here. This is a slide from. Okay, and then you go against good D lines that are coached well, and what do? They fight across the slide. You know?
Yeah.
No, that's a great question. That's why I love it. To be honest with you, I was sitting there and saying, I'm like, dude, what the heck is it? I mean, play action, run action, what's the difference? But I love it now. I love it now, because at the end of the day, like I can think of so many times where we had a play call, and we didn't have the ability to off it. And that's the thing, we're not calling in a big play call. Now, some of them are really big now. But on that one, it's like, hey, this is a run action. And the rule is, the quarterback, you don't like it, and now we're running with it.
So when you put it in, right, say I'm putting in a play action play, is the idea though, like when I initially install it, I'll still want to sell run, it's just now we have to be pre-snap more aware of what's around us. So it's still supposed to look like run, sound like run, all that.
Just don't go downfield.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Do you have, like, when you're thinking run action, is it more along the lines of, look, these runs are basically work best against this. If we don't get the look we're looking for, then we're going to another thing that's good against what they are doing. In other words, how can they stop it? Well, what do we have against that?
Right.
Well, that's the beauty, is that now I can call a great pass and have the run I want. If the quarterback doesn't like that one key that you gave, like in high school, you know, I think Sean Rainey all the time, he used to always plus out a backer, 3x1 and gap exchange.
Yeah.
And when he didn't, it was read rotation, and he knew the pressure was somewhere else. All right, quarterback, you're looking at that one guy.
Yeah.
If you don't like that throw, right now, pre-snap, cannon, let's run the ball.
Yeah.
So I like the thing you're talking about with the 7-9, the pound versus the pin and pull is similar.
Yeah.
What's the look what do we want to run?
Right. I mean, I love that, because I mean, I'll just be honest, like, according to like how you would define it, we only run action. You know, like we don't have any play action. But I love the idea of being able to see inside adjust at the line of scrimmage. You know, that's big.
That's awesome.
No doubt.
Good stuff, Coach.
All right. Well, if nobody has any great job, Coach. If nobody has any other questions, let's meet back for the last speaker at 2:20. Hey, and there's not gonna be like a salutation when we're done with when Coach Hayes gets done. We'll be done. But I did want to say just a couple things before Coach Hayes. Number one, we have a YouTube channel, the Rocket City Line Clinic, and all of these